Hola amigos, welcome to Life for Living Well channel. Please subscribe to keep the channel going. You can also check us out by visiting our website on www.lifeforlivingwell.com. Sit down and enjoy the helpful topic for this week. Hey, welcome back to another episode from Life for Living Well. My name is Richard. Before I dive into the episode for this week, I quickly like to say, if you'd like to know about Life for Living Well, maybe the articles or the books that we support or review, you can check it out on our website at www.lifeforlivingwell.com. And if you'd like to contact me or write to me directly regarding any of the podcasts you listen to through this platform, you can also let me know through the website if you just use contact us forms, and I will be able to get back to you as soon as I can. Once again, my name is Richard, and I will be the anchor for the podcast this week. So let's get started. Okay, continue from last 2 weeks. So for this week, we continue but looking into courage from different perspective. So last week we looked into the Christian perspective, and the week before we looked into Stoic perspective of courage in the face of uncertainty. So this week we look into courage from the perspective of Buddhists. It is Ikaida that once said that no matter how wonderful our dreams, how noble our ideas, how high our hopes are, ultimately we need courage to make them a reality. Without action, it is as if they never existed. So, to even take action, to leave your house, to leave your bed, to start again after you've been pushed back, it takes courage. And sometimes we don't know how much we are courageous, and until we find ourselves, sometimes situation push us, and this kind of courage comes out from it. You don't really know what you are made of until you are put into a position, but I'm challenging you to tap into that courage within you already and use it to support you to change your reality right now if you wanted to. Because so let's start diving into it. According to Buddhist principles, the acceptance that life itself is suffering, regardless of you being good or bad. So whether you're a good person or you're a bad person, Buddhists believed that life himself is suffering. Because just imagine, because you eat today doesn't mean you will not eat tomorrow. So you have to accept that food and eating will be part of your existence. And if you try to do contrary to that, you are going to find yourself in a miserable places. You will lack the energy to do your thing. You will draw and becoming more shattered. So life itself, that everything, people will support you, people will let you down, people will love you, people will not agree with you. So Buddhists have come to the acceptance that life itself is suffering. Whether you're a good person or bad person does not decide that. So based on your actions and choices, you can also bring suffering to your life. So why make suffering more for yourself and others? So it takes courage to forgive yourself and others. So most suffering that we experience in our life is more to do with unfairness or and how other people treat you. Some people carry this kind of resentment forever, and it takes courage to let go. It takes courage to forgive. It takes courage to accept your reality at that moment, because then you will be able to do something about it. If you deny, if you let your anger blindfolded you of the road to freedom, then you won't be able to take it. So, if forgiveness is easy, the world will have less people with anger and resentment that lead to destruction on many levels. So sometimes what we see in the physical world is not actually what created that. There's something behind that that's more forceful than what you say. Take, for example, war. War not just happened. It happened because people that created the war and people that are involved in the war, they have created a narrative that have built up so much resentment, so much anger, that you no longer see the other person as a human being that have a right to live anymore. So if you can tap into that anger, if you can tap into that one-sided thinking and ideas, then you can stop the war. Unfortunately, life lost. And it takes courage to be able to let go event of 100 years, 200 years, 300 years, rather than recreated it right now. And then we have less destruction. So few principles have been established for believers and admirers of the practice to be in the moment and awareness of their thoughts. As a believer, you tend to observe inner and outer world events as a result of your awareness, which is helpful in this unpredictable world. There's more emphasis in the Buddhist practice of self-awareness. So they use meditation, they use mindfulness to be able to know what is going on, especially in their inner world, their thoughts, their thinking, their feelings, not running away from it, but to able to dig in where this emotion comes from and do the right thing. Sometimes those emotions does not help you to get what you really want to happen. They become blockages, they become obstacles. So once you are aware of it, you also learn how to release them. I once met a man that was the first time I know somebody used medication to calm themselves down. He was agitated, he was impulsive, he was constantly reacting to every little things. And after the end of the event in the evening, he just confessed to me that he has to take a medication to calm himself down. So there are people out there that's how they handle what is going on within them, not the outside of them. You'll have thought that event outside make him feel and act this way. No, it was the event that going on within him, because it was outside event that many people are. They react different way to it. So, what are the principles referenced in this article and podcast? Some of it will be briefly explained shortly. These rules are very important to develop courage and your overall well-being. Buddha called it 6 rules of better life, which can also increase and solidify your courage. If you really want to improve or increase your courage, I encourage you to be a little bit open-minded to adapt this principle, these rules into your daily life. Even if you cannot follow all the six, even follow one of the rules may be able to help you. Number one, never hate. What does these rules actually mean? And all these rules, when you actually think about it, these are universal rules. These are not man-made rules. These are the rules that govern the universe. If you walk in the nature, you will realize how important these rules are. Even around you where you are right now, just take a notice of nature for a few minutes. You will realize that these rules are actually governed. And one of the reasons why we always find ourselves in troubles is we live in contrary to the rule of the universe. This rule doesn't care who you are. It doesn't want to know the kind of education or title you are or status you are. It doesn't really care about the family you came from or the color of your skins. It's a universal rules. And if you live your life within these rules, I assure you that you will see positive changes in your life. Maybe not as fast as you will say it, but you will say it, and the people around you will say it. So let's get started and dive into it. Rule number one, never hate. Be aware of your negative emotions before it builds up to the point that it becomes destructive to yourself and others. And this is the problem. We have so many people that carry load of low-level emotions that drain them and drain other people and propel them to do the greater atrocity to themselves and others. So take, for example, anger. It builds up with resentment. And the worst form of anger is internal anger, where you are not able to act out or what you thought or what you feel about other person, but you treat them with silent treatment. You wait until you expect them to suffer. Someone put it much better, said that it's like you eating a poison and you're expecting other person to die. Live your life that you never hate. It's going to be challenging. It's going to be tough. It's going to be difficult because every day you will meet people that they will push your button. Work to increase your tolerant level because everyone you meet are also confronting one thing or the other. They might dress well. They might drive in a fanciful car. Don't be fooled with that. They might be living in a wonderful houses. They might have a beautiful families. Don't be fooled with that. Be kind. So let's move to the rule number 2. The rule number 2 is don't worry. Why this rule is so important? If you work in nature doesn't seem to be rushing and is accomplish everything. It doesn't seem to be you put a seed on the ground, and it germinate and it grow up again when it's the right time comes. And relate. And most things that you worry about will never happen. If it's in your life to let it happen to you, it will happen. If it's not in your life, even if you strive, it will not happen. So why worry about it? It doesn't mean that you should not take action. It means take action, but you have no power on the outcome of your action. What people do to you is tiny. How you react to it is bigger. Your actions and choices have consequences. That consequences is what you have no control over. And that is the law of the universe. And this is what this rule is all trying to govern you. Don't worry. So one of my Bob Marley favorite song is Don't Worry. So this is part of the rules of better life of Buddhist, and it's push and encourage and facilitate courage in us. Because when we no longer let the worry paralyze us, we will begin to take action. And take action is the only thing that can create the kind of life or world that we want for ourselves. Worry and become purposeless and weak will not do it for us. So, rule number 2, don't worry. Learn to put your effort, attention, and focus on things you can control and change, and identify what you cannot control, such as the future, other people's actions, and behaviors. And that takes me to rule number 3. Rule number 3, live simply. The world has sold us lies, and sometimes we live be above our means, and then we find ourselves in a serious debt just because we want to impress people that are not impressed. Someone said that. We cannot be comfortable for who we are, what we want to be. We dress it up to show the world what we are not or what we think they should see us like. It takes courage to be authentic. It takes courage to say less is more. We live in the world that says more is less. But to be true you is to focus on what you truly need. What you want is an ice on your cake. What you need is actually the cake that you deserve. But your want is the icing on your cake. How do you live simple? Simply to individual is subjective, is different from you. But focus on what you truly need. People put so many energy and resources to less priority in their life, and the only time they find out is on their deathbed. Their job no longer to hold their hand. They abandon their close friends and family. And when the trouble comes, they suffer in silence for no reason, because they prioritize things that is never worth prioritizing. Money, status, ambition, fun. So, live simply means that aware what is most important to you. Some people, their family, their relationship, their marriage, their home, their children is the most important to them. And prioritize it in the order of importance and create time and attention that are required for it, because this thing will not be given. It's like seed that you plant. You still have to look after it. So live simply. The world has made simple life even more difficult by their erroneous beliefs, unable to separate a need from want. Identity, culture, and politics create more suffering for all beings. It's not only human beings that suffer from these kind of ideas, all beings, because our lifestyles now becoming extremely dangerous to the even world, the climate, the universe, because we so use more than what we need. Gandhi once said the universe have abundant resources for everyone, but not the greediness of individual. So that takes me to the next rules. Expect a little. People expectations and entitlements have created toxic and infighting in their relationships with others. Lack of harmony from expecting a lot from another person just because you are a family, friend, or business partner. Sometimes I could be amazed with the expectations of others whenever they care to voice it out. It's always surprised me. The kind of entitlement and expectation people actually demand for. It's not real. And it takes some kind of things to see where they're coming from. So when you have so big expectation that you have no control, but you are demanding from another person to do for you, you are really creating unhealthy expectation for yourself. And that cannot be good for your courage, because you are creating a dependency relationship rather than creating a very stronger relationship which is interdependent. And that is take courage. It takes courage to confront whatever you perceive you deserve. Okay, we're coming toward the end of the podcast. I'm aware that I have should run the podcast by 2 minutes. So the next on the rule that I have down is care a lot. Again, learn to be care a lot. We have the word that everyone care about themselves. People worry that people don't think about them, and they think a lot about themselves, and they still worry that people don't think about them. So how do you, it takes courage. It takes courage to take attention for yourself for a while and put it into the others. It takes courage. It takes courage to be present when somebody is talking to you completely without you thinking what you're going to say next. It takes courage without thinking like you are the only one. Someone once said to me a long time ago, you are so lucky, you have no problem. Because for all the time I've met this individual, it's always one problem upon another problem. This individual never asked me, how am I doing? So thinking about it, it's just so surreal that anyone can be in this world and have no challenges. That is not true. It's either they don't talk about it or you never ask them. So selfishness, being self-absorbed, and self-centeredness that lead to all kinds of psychological behavioral traits such as narcissism, sociopathy, and many more, which are creating all kinds of pain in society today. Taking focus away from yourself for a few hours will humble you, increase your empathy and self-awareness. This could lead to a better life and fulfilling living. This is all you need, but we're afraid to do so because we care so much about ourselves. But we should care a lot about our universe, about all beings. Care a lot about it. It will come back to you. It takes courage. It takes courage to put yourself in other people's shoes. It takes courage to show compassion. Because when you show compassion, you're no longer judging. We live in the world that everybody judges everyone, including themselves. I once met someone a long time ago in a city, living there for a long time, have a very high expectation and standard of herself. And as we were walking toward the restaurant, so she was confused, she missed the road. And she was berating herself that how stupid she is, that she should have known how to get there all this while. So I said, calm down. It's not the end of the world. It gave us the opportunity to find another part of your city that you don't know. We will get to the restaurant when we need to get there. So imagine how these individuals talk to themselves. Their expectation, their perfectionism, they expect that they should know. And if they don't know, they don't want it. It takes compassion. And you cannot give anybody what you don't have. You have to start from yourself. You have to give yourself compassion. And then you can extend it to other people or all beings. So that takes also the last rules of better life. Always smile. You never know the great difference a kind gesture like a smile could be to someone that forgot to smile just because of where they are right now. Above all, research also shows it is good for your overall well-being. Smile. So, as we bring this podcast to the end this week, over the past 3 weeks, we have examined several perspectives that can improve our courage in the face of uncertainty. With courage, you can do extraordinary things. So, for next week, which will be the last final of courage in the face of uncertainty. So, for next week, we'll be looking into reason perspective, because not everyone will embrace Buddhist perspective, not everyone will embrace Christian perspective, not everyone even will embrace Stoic perspective. So let's also look into reason perspectives, how people use reason to improve their courage. Hopefully this particular podcast this week helps someone. And if you'd like to write to me about these particular topics that we'll be looking into for the last 3 weeks, please feel free to do so through the podcast platform devices you're using, or you can do it through our website at www.lifeforlivingwell.com. Until we meet again next week, have an amazing week and ciao. From everyone here, from Life for Living Well, we say hasta luego, amigos. Thank you for your time this week. May your rest of the week be safe and loving. Please subscribe to our channel to keep it going. And you can find more information on our website by visiting www.lifeforlivingwell.com. Goodbye.